If you've ever reordered the same sportswear product from your factory between collection to collection, perhaps you've just done a straight reorder of the same black leggings that were best sellers for you last season, or you just updated your short with an extra pocket, but for some reason comes back, the color's off, the fit is off, the trims are completely different, and ultimately it feels like you're starting from scratch. You are not going crazy. There's a specific reason for this that I've experienced myself as a sportswear designer working in the field for the last 10 years, and it's one simple fix. And if you stick around to the end of this episode, I'll give you an extra bonus on how you can guarantee virtually that your colors come back perfect every single time with your factory. So without further ado, let's get right into it. My name is Shadi. I'm the co-founder and creative director of FittDesign, and I've literally helped thousands of brands go from an idea to a physical product in under 30 days. And if you stick around to the end of this episode, I'll show you how you can as well. So the main thing that we have to understand is that consistency is not something that a factory has. Consistency is a program that you build up and that you give your factory the ability to do with proper documentation, approvals, and a clear structured workflow. Ultimately, if you rely on factories to create your consistency for you, you're relying on their own internal processes, which may not be as streamlined as yours. Factories have multiple brands that they work for at any one given moment, and like any company, they are a collection of people that come and go. So relying on one contact or one person in that company to do your consistency for you is exposing you to unnecessary traps. So what can create this consistency? Well, that's exactly what we're going to be discussing in today's episode. So ultimately, the 6 main reasons that results change on the same product with the same factory but different collections comes down to number 1, the fact that you have color drift. Ultimately, between different types of collections with the same products, you might have a specific color that looks one way in one specific collection and looks something completely different in a different collection. This is a bit troublesome because you're technically selling the same style, the same SKU, maybe even to the same customer. But if they receive the same product in 2 different shades, assuming that they bought the same shade, this is a challenge. So why this typically happens comes down to a variety of different reasons. Number 1, if you're just communicating with your factories on a verbal basis, you may not have provided them with a specific Pantone or color code that locks in the exact shade of the fabric that you want. Because at the end of the day, colors are subjective. When I say cherry red, you might be imagining a red of intensity and a specific shade of red versus what I might be imagining depending on my understanding of what cherry red is. When we use Pantones, we provide a specific code that's locked into a centralized database that anyone, anywhere in the world can plug into to see the exact shade that you're looking for. Next up is that there's no approved lab dips and there's no mock-up that you have that signifies the exact shade. You're again talking in terms of colors and approvals that you've done in the past. But as you move into a new collection, you need to ask for lab dips, which are small swatches of fabrics that are dyed according to your Pantone code that showcase to the factory that they understand what color you're looking for. And typically with lab dips, you'll have one code and 3 different sort of shades. And the idea is that depending on the concentration of the different dyes that come together, creates a small different shade, even though it's the same exact code. And it's on you to be able to test and to see from the lab dips which one best matches your most recent version of that product to get it accurately. Third is that dye lots change. Even the same Pantone code, the same lab dips, ultimately that may change over time because people and machines come together to create these fabrics. There is a natural difference in how that fabric is exposed to the environment, the climate, the storage conditions, which creates a little bit of a different shade. It's just something to bear in mind. Lastly is that the fabric supplier might have changed the base yarn. Not all polyester is created equal, not all nylon is created equal. So you might have a polyester that comes from one yarn supplier that tends to absorb specific dyes in a very specific way, and then the same exact quote unquote polyester, the same exact fiber percentage, but it might just be a little bit different. This is why lab dips are so important before a reorder. Last but not least, it comes down to what you should do about it. Well, you should definitely have a clear color reference that is locked into a specific mockup that uses that reference. You need to make sure that you have lab dip approvals before any reorders go through. You need to make sure that if dye lots change, that you're approving the lab dip before you go into a new production run. You need to make sure that the fabric itself is visually matched, so not just virtually matched, but visually matched to the previous fabric that you used before you go into production against different fabrics or against different light sources. There are actually very well-known machines that allow you to test out the fabric in different light sources to see how fabric relates to underneath white light, harsh light, yellow light. All of those make an impact in terms of how you perceive the fabric. Number two is that sometimes between different orders, you might have a fabric that is no longer in stock. Especially with smaller orders, companies and factories tend to use fabrics that are available on the market. We call those as stock or available fabrics. They're a great option for startup brands to get into quality products at a fraction of the minimum order quantity. The issue is that you might have a specific fabric that you loved on the first collection run, but on collection run number 2, that fabric is no longer available, or that fabric is no longer available in that specific color that you want. So that's why you need to approve and to make sure that you have the fabric on file and that you have the code, because even stock fabrics come with their specific code, and that you have some sort of ability to reorder from that fabric. So if you go into production run, you might ask your factory, I will most likely want to reorder this. Are we going to have challenges reordering this type of fabric? If so, I want to be using a fabric that is widely available in the market consistently, as I perceive this to be a bestseller in the future. Sometimes even a factory might automatically assume that a likewise fabric that is not 100% the same might pass off as identical. This is why it's important that you document everything. You don't just rely on the factory to make the selection of fabrics for you, that you document the code, you document the weight, the composition, you put everything down, you keep a roll of fabric with you for safekeeping. You want to make sure that you define the composition, the weight, the GSM, everything that is related and pertain to that fabric, and that you require fabric approval before anything goes into bulk production so that you can verify that the current fabric is the same as the fabric from collection number 1. And then you need to ask your factory one thing: is this fabric a stock fabric, or is this custom milled specifically to my expectations and my requirements? And then if it's custom milled, they need to provide proof of that. Number 3 is fit drift. You might get a great quality fitting t-shirt for collection 1 that's a size medium that fits perfectly, and then for collection 2, that same exact product no longer fits perfectly. Why is that? This can come down to a variety of different factors, but it comes down to because you don't have one centralized methodology that communicates actual fit. You might be relying on your factory to do the fit for you, but perhaps someone is no longer working on your project at that factory and they no longer have that keeping sample for collection 1, and they're essentially working from scratch again with your mockup, especially if the orders are far apart. Why this happens is because you have no locked sizing chart or technical sheet, which is essential parts. You don't have a factory sizing guide that has been approved, which you should always ask your factory to send you before bulk production. You don't have a keeping sample or the golden sample because of changes structurally in the factory. That's why I always recommend when you receive your initial stock, have them keep 2 or 3 different copies, and you keep 2 or 3 different copies, especially of different sizes, so that you can always come back to them when the time is right. What you need to do ultimately is build a clear technical sheet and a points of measurement sheet, sizing chart that has the grading and has the different measurements that you'll need between different sizes. Keep a reference sample or golden sample and label it visually in terms of its size and its measurements, and require that your factory always gives you a sizing chart before they proceed into bulk production in order to ensure that the measurements of the next collection are going to be identical to the measurements of the first collection. And last but not least, ultimately comes down to people in the factory. At the end of the day, factories are a bunch of people. They're not just a bunch of robots, a bunch of AI agents. They are real people who have real world problems, and they may come and go, right? You might be working with a salesperson on one collection, and although that salesperson might have been great, they might have just moved on to a different role or a different company altogether. So for collection number 2, if you're relying on the inside information that that salesperson had about all of your products, because you don't have a concrete way to represent your product through a blueprint or a tech pack, you're going to get those inconsistencies. So you need to understand that factories have workers that change, technicians in the factories that change, someone on the production line changes, ultimately production methods change, and your project folder is never going to be as organized at the factory as it should be in your own company. So there is always going to be a difference between the notes that you might have given to your previous order and what's being carried forward, especially if things were said verbally or over the phone. So what you need to do is keep one master tech pack that is always updated according to the versions. If you have a tech pack that goes out and then you go through 2 or 3 rounds of samples, you should have one version of that tech pack that is in line with each round of samples. If you've gone through 4 rounds of samples, you should have 5 tech packs, each one communicating the changes that were made, and then your final production pack should communicate the most up-to-date changes on the fabric, fit, construction, color, branding, everything. So if you want to guarantee that your next collection comes back just as perfect as your first collection, or if you want to set yourself up for success from day one. You can check the link in the description to apply to work with us and to help you take your idea from a vision to a physical product in under 30 days and have everything documented in the process. You can check the link in the description and we will get back to you literally within 12 to 24 hours on a clear path forward. If you guys enjoyed this episode, please consider smashing a massive thumbs up. It really helps us out and it keeps us motivated to keep pumping out this content for you. I say this from the very bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Fit Design TV. Until next week's episode, stay awesome.